Hello, everyone. Again, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here for Cal State LA's Spring 2026 What's Next session. My name is Jacob Quintana, and I am a recruitment specialist with the Office of Admissions and Recruitment. And I am here today because this is exactly what I do. I help transfer students just like yourselves, or even first-time freshmen with the transfer process and how to navigate the next steps towards either accepting their offer of admission, or really just proceeding with Cal State LA and committing. All right. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and begin. All right, so congratulations to those transfer students because you did it. We're definitely excited to have you become Golden Eagles. And our this time here is really just to guide you through the rest of the admissions process and show you what amazing opportunities await you. But as a transfer student, you should feel proud of what you just accomplished, right? You definitely did the 60 units as an upper division transfer, or if you came in as a lower division transfer, you took all the appropriate requirements in order to transition to Cal State LA, which is a huge step forward. You're on to the next step of your academic journey. And of course, here as recruitment specialist or the admissions department, we're here to support you. And again, this session is going to go over how Cal State LA can support you as a student, whether it's through academic advisement, financial aid, whatever it may be. So what we're going to go over today is your next steps, right? So now that you're probably wondering, I just got admitted to Cal State LA, fantastic. Now, how do I accept my offer of admission, right? How does Cal State LA know that I'm fully committed to attending? So we're going to go over that. And of course, how Cal State LA will support you through means of financial aid and scholarships, academic advisement, housing and residence life, campus involvement opportunities, what kind of clubs and organizations we have, and of course, how to activate your My Cal State LA and access your Get portal, which is super, super important. I cannot emphasize how important it is, and I'll go ahead and go into that shortly. And we're also going to talk to you about how to stay connected, how to essentially know the next steps, how to stay up to date, and really how to get a few reminders on what the next steps are. All right, so academics, where learning also happens outside the classroom. Here at Cal State LA and really as the CSU system as a whole, we're really all about practical work experience, right? We're all about basically showing you the academic portion of your subject, right? Whether it's criminal justice, English, math, whatever it may be, right? We're here to show you and educate you on what those topics kind of include. But we're also about the practical hands-on experience, right? So, for example, for kinesiology students, we have the mobility center for you, where you're not only going to be learning about muscles and, of course, nerves and the nervous system and the human body in general, right? We're also going to show you on how to essentially come back from injuries, how to like properly stretch someone out, right? How to properly help someone come back from an injury, all that stuff. We also have the Television, Film, and Media Center, which is its own building at the top of our campus. It's right on the hill, which is dedicated to those students, right? They have access to green rooms, cameras. They have access to those big director cameras in order to film their own projects. We even have some DJ equipment there that you can use as a student, all kinds of stuff. And of course, we also have fieldwork internships, which are available to you based on your major, right? So if you're a business major, we can connect you to whether it's accounting internships, financial internships, whether you're a marketing major, right? Whether you're a biology major, we can connect you to certain hospitals. If you're an education major, we can connect you to certain schools and so on, right? So again, it's important to realize that Cal State LA and the CSU system is not just about education. We're also about kind of showing you what your job entails, right? So by the time you graduate, you're going to know exactly how to do your job, right? Or what your job may entail, depending on your goals. All right, folks. So I really do like to talk about this slide, which is the financial aid and scholarship slide, for many reasons, right? Students often wonder, well, am I going to be able to afford college, right? Am I going to go into debt? What does all of that entail? Well, we're going to go into that and how Cal State LA can financially support you. So just to let you know, Cal State LA, every year, the annual tuition, we're about $7,400. Okay. So we're very affordable. We are a CSU school. We are by affiliation, right? So we are state supported, we are state funded, which is why our tuition is able to be so affordable. But on top of our affordability, we do love to financially support our students. So what does that mean? Well, the average financial aid package is $12,000. And yes, our tuition is $7,400 a year. So students often wonder and they look at me and say, Jacob, well, how does that make sense? How am I going to get more financial aid than the cost every year at Cal State LA? Well, that's great. It's an interesting question, and it's a great question because oftentimes um, students want to live on campus, right? They want to participate in housing, and that's fantastic. We 100% support that. or students want to go ahead and buy books and supplies as needed as part of their classroom instruction. So that's what that financial aid is essentially for. It's here to support your academic goals, whether it's purchasing academic equipment, right, like your books and supplies, your pens, or living on campus, et cetera, et cetera. It's also important to note that 94% of our students do receive financial aid, which is a huge number, right? That's almost 100% of our students. So if you think you're not eligible, or if you don't want to apply for the FAFSA application simply because you think you're not eligible, or maybe you think it's a long process and you just don't know how to navigate that process, that's what we're here for. Not specifically the Office of Admissions, of course, because we do have a specific department, the Office of Financial Aid here at Cal State LA. But we can help you navigate the very basics, right? Or we can essentially tell you how to access financial aid related information. So keep that in mind. Here as Cal State LA, the Student Support Services, we're here to support you, whether it's financial means, admission means, whatever it may be. It's also important to note that here at Cal State LA, we do offer a ton in the form of grants and scholarships. So last year we gave out $273 million in grants and scholarships. That money is aside or separate from the financial aid. This is money that does not need to be paid back. This is simply because either you qualified for the Cal Grant, the Pell Grant, or because you were just a great student and we wanted to offer you a scholarship, right? So we have things like the State University Grant, or even just scholarships, again, that were given through academic progress. Mhm. We do also have 400 plus scholarships that are available to you as a student. And I love to talk about our scholarships because not that they're easy to apply for, but we do streamline the process, right? So a lot of students choose not to apply for our scholarships typically because they either don't know about the scholarships, or they just don't know how to essentially navigate the process, or maybe they just feel like they're not going to qualify, right? Well, I'm here to tell you quite the opposite. In less than an hour, usually about 30, 45 minutes, you're able to apply for over 400 scholarships here at Cal State LA. So again, I'm going to repeat that, right? So in about 30 to 45 minutes, you can apply for over 400 scholarships here at Cal State LA. You essentially create one portal, one application, and will automatically filter you in for the scholarships that you are eligible for. Okay, it's important to keep in mind that these are only available to Cal State LA students, so you do have to be a continuing student, meaning you can apply after your first semester, right, as a continuing student, right? But that money is available to you in order to help you with your academic progress, on top of financial aid, on top of grants. Okay. And also just another disclosure, our application here at Cal State LA and all the other CSUs, we open up on October 1st. The same exact thing happens, or rather applies for the financial aid application, right? We open up on October 1st as well. So just please keep that in mind, as you do want to go ahead and make sure that you apply timely. Oftentimes students have questions about how to fill it out, or they may wait till last minute. The window for priority access to financial aid is from October 1st to March 1st, okay? So again, October 1st to March 1st for financial aid, but for the Cal State Apply application, that's from October 1st to December 1st. All right, folks, so getting into housing and residence life, if you go ahead and take a look at the screen, you're going to see an example of a two-person bedroom here at Cal State LA. Okay, as you can see, they're very modern and honestly very new. This housing unit has only been open for about 3 years, which means that you get access to a new facility that houses a lot of students. And honestly, there's different groupings in them as well, which we call themed living communities. So if you're part of a STEM major, biology, engineering, math, or even like a club, right? If you're part of like a dance club or anything like that, you can specifically live in those communities within the housing unit, right? Or even if you want to live with your best friend or someone you met at orientation, whatever it may be, you can definitely opt in to choose or choose to live with those specific people or communities, clubs and organizations, and so on. Right, so it's really, really important to know. We're all about your personal growth here, and of course, making sure that you have a good time in college. The dorms here on campus are steps away from class, right? As soon as you leave the dorms, you're maybe a less than a 3 to 5 minute walk from your nearest classroom. Okay. And we do have a dining hall that's located at the bottom of the residence hall, which is really, really great because it is buffet style. So we have about like 4 different restaurants you can choose from, which have pizza, burgers, chicken sandwiches, all kinds of like Mexican dishes, Peruvian dishes, salad. We have like a little salad section, an entire space dedicated for desserts. And of course, all of that is unlimited, right? You do have to pay per swipe into this to the dining hall or buffet, but once you swipe in, you're pretty much good to go, right? You can stay as long as you'd like, as much food as you like. We do also want to mention that all the rooms here at Cal State LA do come fully furnished, which means that they come with Wi-Fi. Of course, right? You're a student, we want to make sure you're able to succeed and have access to do your homework, right? The dorms do have lounges, which is great, and study spaces as well. Some of these study spaces include like soundproof rooms or even just private rooms where you can work on a project yourself. We even have some available for group settings, right? So if you want to go ahead and have a table, an overhead projector, a whiteboard on there where you can kind of like brainstorm with your group, we can offer those. Of course, we just need you to reserve them. Just go ahead and talk to the front desk at the housing unit, and they'll be able to help you out. You can actually even play like your PS4, Xbox, or even play like Guitar Hero on there. The housing unit does allow that. Just go ahead and bring your own your PlayStation 4, Xbox if needed, right? But yes, or even play your instruments. It's also important to note that we do have a 24/7 staff support section there for you. So, if it's like 2 a.m. and if you need some help or if an emergency happens, the housing unit does have people on staff ready to go, including our campus safety unit, right? But yeah, so you just know that you'll always have someone there. It is a safe and secure environment for you to, for you to sleep in and for you to participate and meet friends in. All right, folks, so getting down to the next steps for transfer students, right? So now that you're admitted, what do I do? What are the next 3-4 months going to look like? So step number one, which is arguably one of the most important, right? And the reason why it's so important is because Cal State LA will not know if you're committed to the university unless you let us know, unless you tell us that you want to come, right? And how do you tell us? That's what we call the enrollment confirmation deposit, or rather known as the ECD, enrollment confirmation deposit. It is a $100 down payment on your actual tuition. Okay, so again, our tuition every single year is about $7,400. So if you're only joining us for the spring, right, your tuition is going to be about $3,700 for the semester. So let's say we're only talking about the spring term, $3,700. Once you pay this $100 down payment or deposit, you really only owe about $3,600 for the rest of the semester. Okay, so again, it's a down payment or a deposit on your tuition. So it's kind of like you letting us know, yes, I'm interested. Here's my first $100 for my tuition. Okay, so it's not a fee that just goes to us or goes to the university. It's a down payment on your tuition. And again, this is how Cal State LA knows that you're committed to us and that you fully plan on attending. Once you submit the ECD to us, that's when step 2 kicks in. Once you submit the ECD to us, you're going to start receiving all kinds of information, including when to attend orientation, how to attend orientation, stuff pertaining to your specific academic college, stuff pertaining to the university, and so on. So before I even move on to that, I do also want to let you know that if you did take any AP classes in high school or interbaccalaureate or any CLEP exams in high school, those are due at a certain time, right? And again, by submitting your ECD to us, that's how we'll know that you're fully committed to us, and that's how we'll know that we need to ask you for those specific documents, including any official transcripts with your final summer grades posted, as well as any AP classes. Okay, so basically step number one is to submit your ECD, and everything else will make sense after that. Okay, so once you're committed to attending our university, submit your ECD, and I promise everything else will make sense. Another thing I want to go over real quick before I move on is that Cal State LA uses email as official means of communication. Okay, so if you're wondering, well, am I going to receive a letter with my letter of offer of admission? Am I going to receive a letter in the mail? Are they going to send me a bird? Like, what are they going to do? We're going to send you emails, okay? So anytime you receive an email, please make sure to read it thoroughly, as that's our official means of communication. All right, folks. So again, once you submit your ECD, your enrollment confirmation deposit, everything else will make sense, including getting invited to orientation, which is mandatory for all students. Once you submit your ECD, you're going to get an email around October time, which is next month, letting you know to sign up for orientation, right? So the best thing we can recommend to you is to check your email every day, very latest, or the very least, at least once every couple days, 2 times a week, 3 times a week, just to make sure that you're staying up to date with the notifications, including when to submit your official transcript, how to sign up for orientation, when to sign up for orientation, all of that stuff. Okay. And again, orientation is mandatory for all students. Okay. Orientation is a day where you get to meet with your academic advisor. You're going to be able to meet other students within your college, and all that stuff. Okay, so orientation is very, very important. We want to show you how to register for classes, how to seek help. Of course, we're going to give you a campus tour so you can get familiar with where everything's at, the hours, how to ask for help, all that stuff. All right, folks, and lastly, the most important thing, right, because this is going to allow you to basically get an official and final offer of admission. Okay, so that's your official transcripts. Those are due by January 2nd. Okay, and again, right now, all of you have been provisionally admitted, meaning you've been admitted conditionally based on certain factors. However, once we receive your final transcript, which is due January 2nd, that's when you'll get a final notice saying, hey, your provisional offer of admission is now considered final, now that we received your final grades and so on. All right, folks, so some of you are going to be earning a specific type of degree. It's known as an associate degree for transfer. Please know that this is not very different, but it does differ from an AA, which is a standard associate of arts, or an associates of science, an AS, right? This is an associate degree for transfer, or rather known as an ADT. So if you did let us know within the application that you'll be earning an ADT, those are due to us by October 31st of this year, okay? So again, if you reported that you're earning an ADT, please go ahead and work with your counselor to ensure that that first of all, it's posted on your transcript, but second, that they to us here at Cal State LA that that the ADT has been finalized. So if you've already communicated with your counselor, this is usually like an automatic process, so don't need to worry about it. But again, just check in with your counselor to make sure all of that has been solidified. Also, just keep in mind as well that the only actual degree that we have here at Cal State LA that requires you to have an ADT as part of the admission requirements is a degree in psychology. Okay, so if you're specifically earning an ADT in psychology, please keep in mind that we do need this, right? So please be sure to hit that October 31st deadline. All right, folks, as I mentioned, and we talked about orientation is mandatory for all students, for all undergraduate students, okay? But don't think of this as like a hassle or something that's gonna like, basically waste your time. Orientation is a day where you actually get to meet people within your college. And oftentimes I get a lot of weird looks from transfer students or first-time freshmen because how does Cal State LA have different colleges, right? Well, how does that make sense? So just keep in mind that we have the College of Business and Economics, we have the College of Health and Human Services, the College of Natural and Social Science, all of those, right? So your major falls under the academic college, which falls under the university. Okay, so the other way around, Cal State LA has 7 different academic colleges, and all of those academic colleges have specific majors. Okay, so you're gonna be seeing the same people from your academic college within your classes, right? Because most of you have to take the same or very similar classes, right? Orientation is the day where you actually get to meet those people, talk to your advisor, talk about how to register for classes. Maybe you want to declare a minor, or maybe you want a double major. This is the time to have that conversation with your academic advisor, meet them, and all that stuff. And again, you're going to get a campus tour that day. Of course, they're going to feed you. You're going to get a free shirt that day, Cal State LA gear. You're going to know how to sign up for the Wi-Fi, all of that stuff, okay? But this is the day where you become an expert on Cal State LA, essentially. So this is going to happen around November, December time. And of course, you begin the spring semester in January. If you do have any questions specifically regarding orientation, whether you didn't receive a confirmation email or you submitted your ECD and you haven't received an email about orientation, no worries. Just go ahead and reach out to the specific department, okay? The department does have its email right there, as well as its phone number on the screen, okay? So go ahead and take a look at the screen and reach out to them via email or phone number. All right, folks, so for those of you who are fully committed to Cal State LA and of course are ready to commit, we encourage you to go ahead and submit your ECD as soon as possible, right? Because as I mentioned, once you submit your ECD, everything else will begin to make sense. We're going to start receiving, or we're going to start sending you all emails, letting you know of your next steps. Okay, and again, this is how you commit to us. So please don't submit your ECD to us as well as any other university, right? Once you commit to us, that $100 is given to our university. Okay, so only submit your ECD if you're committed to us and that you want to attend for spring 2026. You can barcode. If you don't have that $100 100% available to you right now, that is completely okay. Okay, we definitely understand. So we do have a waiver option for you as well. And again, if you scan the QR code or if you just go on Google and you look up Cal State LA ECD, Enrollment Confirmation Deposit, it'll take you to the website where you can submit the ECD, but it also take you to the website where you can submit a waiver, where you can still commit to the university without submitting the $100. Okay. And those are like pending approval, right? So just make sure that it's not final. But if you submit the waiver, that's your best chance to go ahead and commit to the university without submitting the $100. Okay. So again, you can commit to Cal State LA by either submitting the ECD waiver or by submitting the actual $100 confirmation deposit right there and then. So academic advisement, as we talked about, you're going to meet your academic advisor during your orientation, which takes place a month or 2 months before your first day of classes. Um, Now, your academic advisors are here to help you out with all kinds of stuff, including, what classes to register for or what classes to basically sign up for in order to make sure that you graduate in 2 years and on time and really just in accordance with your goals. But they're also here to help you with like your major and career exploration, right? Let's say, for example, you're majoring in psychology, but you just don't know what you want to do yet, whether you want to be like a behavioral psychologist or whether you want to go into clinical psychology or whether you want to be, whatever it may be. That's what they're there for, okay? Your academic advisor just goes so much further beyond like letting you know what classes to take, okay? But on top of academic advisement, we do offer a ton of other support services within like that same area. We do have tutors and supplemental instruction available for you. Tutoring is absolutely free, and that tutoring center is typically open from like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Okay, so whether you have trouble with your calculus course or your business course, whatever your biology course, that is all available to you. So please take advantage of it. And a lot of people ask me about when they'll get access to their academic advisors. And again, the first time you'll meet your academic advisor is during your orientation date. However, after your orientation, that's when you'll be able to make as many appointments with your academic advisor as you need. Okay. So basically, attending orientation is the first step. After that, they're going to show you how to basically how to register for any further appointments. All right, folks, getting into our housing and residence life just a little bit further. We do have a few different housing units available to you. Of course, depending on age and preference and all that stuff. But typically speaking, the transfer students do get access to our apartment style dorms as well, meaning you get access to our North and East-West Village, which are exactly what they sound like, apartments. So they'll have a shared living room, about 2 to 4 bedrooms per apartment. Some of them even have patios or balconies and so on, which are really, really cool. Fun little fact, when the Winter Olympics were thrown here, and the Olympians actually stood in the Cal State LA dorms, which is really, really cool. I think this happened in the 90s. But again, as I went over earlier, they do have themed living within our communities, right? So we do have the Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, or what we call the JEDI group, right? So if you want to be part of that club and organization, you can live with those specific students in that section of the housing unit, right? Or you can live in the transfer section unit, or we can live in the business community unit, right? Whatever it may be. All of the dorms do come fully furnished. They do come with like blinds. They come with the beds, of course, your desks and chairs, your dressers, some lamps, couches, dining room tables, all of that stuff. So really, all you really have to bring is your own personal decorations, right? Or your own personal effects, right? So your own, if you want to bring your own blankets and stuff like that, and you want to bring your own, your posters, that's perfectly okay. Of course, the kitchens do come with ovens. We got the kitchen cabinets, all of that stuff, microwave, central heat and air. All of that is standard, right? As like you're moving into your own apartment. And of course, as I mentioned, right, we do have Wi-Fi available to you. We have streaming, TV and movie streaming available for you. We have on-site laundry, meaning you don't actually have to leave the housing unit to do your laundry, which is a huge plus, and it saves you time and money. They're actually free and part of your housing unit cost, so you don't have to bring those quarters with you, or your nickels and dimes, whatever it may be. It's all standard, ready for you to use. And we do also have a learning center where you can actually work on your own projects, whether you want to go ahead and, like I said, do group projects or whatever it may be. Going over some campus opportunities, as I mentioned before, Cal State LA does have about 120 to 130 clubs and organizations, including, the accounting club or the biology club, right? Or the bowling club. We even have intramural sports, which are really fun, and so on, right? So if you don't think there's a club for you, chances are that there are. Right? We have a ton of clubs and organizations, including fraternities and sororities. If you want to be part of Greek life, we have those available to you as well. We do have 13 NCAA Division II teams as well. We're really happy to talk about our women's volleyball team as they took the national championship last year. So that's very exciting. Our women's volleyball team went really far for Division II last year. And our men's soccer team won the division title about 4 years ago. So that's really exciting as well. We do have pretty good Division II sports. And actually, fun little fact, our men's soccer team was just ranked 5th in the nation, right? So that's really, really cool, right? All right. We do have a cheerleading squad as well, and the cheerleading squad does go to all of the games, whether it's for baseball, basketball, all of that stuff. So they are quite busy. But we do have a lot of spirit here at Cal State LA, and our games do get really well attended. So if you do want to go ahead and attend some of those games, we definitely would encourage it. We do also have collaborative nights with Dodger Stadium where they'll offer like discounted tickets to students. And they'll also like collaborate with us to have like a Dodgers Cal State LA themed like hat or like shirt that they give out at the entrance, which is really cool as well. So not only do you get a discounted ticket and get to sit next to other Cal State LA students, but you also get some Cal State LA Dodger collaboration gear. All right, and lastly, we do have ASI. Some of you may know it as ASB, Associated Student Body. Here at Cal State LA, we call it Associated Students Incorporated, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's student government, right? Where you can run for office, run for president of the university, right? Vice president, secretary, treasurer, all of that stuff. And what I will say about the ASI group is that they do get very involved with the campus community. So if you want something to put on your resume, or even if you just want to work on your personal intercommunication skills, that's the perfect opportunity to go ahead and do that, right? You can run for office and do and participate in all that stuff. All right, folks. So now I'm going to go ahead and get into how to activate your My Cal State LA portal, right? Which is super, super important for all of you because this is how you're going to be able to check when your enrollment date for your signing up for your classes, or if you owe us anything, whether it's money, a certain form, or this is how you're going to check to see what your financial aid looks like, how much you're going to receive. Okay. So some of you might be familiar with this. I know certain community colleges like Glendale Community College, they actually use the same exact software. So if you come from a community college that has like a similar software, perfect. The concept is exactly the same. But first, we're going to go over how to activate your portal. Okay. So step number one, you want to go ahead and access. I'm gonna make it easier for you guys. All you have to do is go on Google and just look up My Cal State LA, one word, the way it's shown right there on the screen. And then activation, right? So My Cal State LA activation, and it'll take you to the website. It'll look just like what's shown on the screen. Or you can just look up the URL that's right there on the top of the screen, the HTTP link. Okay. So again, My Cal State LA activation, or just use that link right above. It'll take you to the screen right there. The section that we want to go ahead and click on is the one that has the red arrow pointed at it, which displays activate account. Okay, so again, click on the red arrow where it says activate your account, and it's going to take you to the screen which is shown next. All right, folks. So the first thing there's 3 things you want to make sure you have when trying to activate your My Cal State LA portal. That's going to be your CIN, which stands for Campus Identification Number. You want to have your PIN ready, which you should have received already. Typically, it arrives 2 days after you apply to the university, as well as know your last name, right? So you should already have the last name portion ready to go. And please keep in mind that if you apply to our university with a different last name or different information, please keep in mind that we are going to have on file whatever you reported. So whatever last name you applied with, that's the last name that you're going to have to type in. Okay. So 3 things: your last name, your CIN, which is your campus identification number, and lastly, your PIN, which is a 4-digit number that should have been emailed to you 2 days after you applied. If you don't have access to any of that information, you can literally just go to your email and type in CIN or type in PIN, and it should take you to the email. All right. So again, once you hit activate account, you're going to go ahead and get taken to this screen. You're going to type in your 9-digit campus identification number, your SIN, as well as type in your last name. Then you're going to go ahead and hit submit. And you're going to get taken to the second step, which says validate and accept. I don't have a screenshot of that, unfortunately, but it's really, really simple. It's really just going to ask you for your PIN. It's going to say, what's your 4-digit PIN? And again, if you don't have it, just look at your email. Once you move on from step 2 to step 3, it's very, very simple. You just have to go ahead and create a password. Once you create that password, you're good to go. And you'll have access to your My LA. And this is a quick screenshot of what that might look like. I say might because as incoming juniors or incoming students, you're not going to have access to all of these applications just yet, okay? So you're going to have access to maybe like 3 of them, including GET, which stands for Golden Eagle Territory. You might have access to maybe the purchase parking or even the email. But once you actually commit to the university and basically attend orientation, you're going to have access to all this stuff, okay? But again, the most important one that I want to talk about is the GET screen, which is circled in red. Okay, GET stands for Golden Eagle Territory, and that's the student portal that I was talking to you about earlier. This is exactly what your GET looks like. Again, if you went to Glendale Community College, I know that you guys use a very, very similar software. In fact, it's the same exact purpose, right? So I'm going to go ahead and draw your attention to this, the corner, the bottom left corner. Okay, the bottom left corner where it's circled, it says view financial aid or accept or decline your award. That's where you're basically going to find out how much is being awarded to you here at Cal State LA via financial aid. Okay, so again, if you don't have access to your GET, you're not going to be able to know this. So if once you click on that, you'll be able to see exactly how much is being offered to you. So please keep that in mind. The section at the top right-hand corner, which says Communication Center, that is where you're going to be able to access any communication that Cal State LA has ever sent you. Again, we communicate with you officially through email. Any email that has ever been sent to you will also have a duplicate copy right there in the communication center. So if you deleted your email or you didn't think you read something thoroughly, or maybe you kind of just lost it, you can also log into your GET portal and find any communication that we've sent you. Right below the communication center, you're going to find something that says holds. The hold section is typically, you want to make sure that it's blank. You want to make sure that it's empty, that there's nothing there. In the hold section, that means that there's something very pressing and very time sensitive that you need to do. Okay. So whether it's you're late on your tuition payment, or whether you did not submit a form that's needed as part of your admission, or maybe you just owe us transcripts and they're very long overdue, that'll show up in the hold section. Okay. So again, you're not going to be able to move on if there's something in the holds. In the section right below that, which is labeled to-do list, you're going to have something there that's owed, right? Basically, if you owe us any official transcripts, or if you owe us any forms or documents or test scores, anything that you owe us here at Cal State LA is going to pop up in the to-do list. If something is sitting in the to-do list for too long, maybe it's like a month overdue or 3 months overdue, it'll move up to the holds, and it's going to put a hold on your account, stopping you from enrolling into classes and all that stuff. Okay, so make sure the to-do list is clear, make sure the hold section is clear. If you want to make sure that you don't owe us anything and you want to just be extra thorough, you can just look at the communication center up on top to check to see if you owe us anything. All right, folks. So I'm very, very excited to meet all of you, right? If I might have a familiar face to you because I've either been at your community college or you may have just seen me on campus, but a lot of the recruiters in our entire recruitment team, we're just dedicated representatives of Cal State LA, and we go out to your community colleges in order to make sure that you get all the help you need in order to transition to Cal State LA. So I'm going to formally invite you to Eagle Fest, which is shown on the screen now. It's taking place on Saturday, November 15th, which is coming up very, very soon, in about a month, about 2 months actually. It's our biggest event of the year. Typically, we have about 10,000 people that come by. We get people who even fly in from like New York and Chicago, Washington area, just to kind of like check out the campus. So essentially what this event is, it's an open house. So if you've never been to Cal State LA, or if you kind of just want to make sure Cal State LA is the right fit for you, November 15th is the day to do that. Let's say, for example, you're a psychology student and you really just want to talk to some psychology professors or kind of just get to know what the program's all about. Or maybe you're a business student, you want to see what kind of connections we have with the community. Maybe you're a nursing student, you want to see what kind of internships we have available for you. This is the day where you have those conversations. Again, 10,000 people come. It's a family event, so bring your family, your friends, your mom, your dad, your tío, your tía, your sister, whoever. Okay, we really want to see you here. It's a family event. We're going to go ahead and make sure that all the people in attendance get fed. So we're going to give you free food, free parking. We're going to give you, go ahead and like a free shirt, right? You're going to get a tour of the campus. But most importantly, you're going to be able to hear from the financial aid department. Let's say you're interested in EOP. Let's say you want to hear from the Office of Students with Disabilities, right? Or let's say you want to go ahead and maybe just hear from the Office of Admission, make sure everything is good. whatever it may be, we're here to help you out this day, okay? So please come to our Eagle Fest. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, bring your friends, your family. We're going to have campus tours. We're going to have the housing department there. We're going to have your academic college. And most importantly, you're going to be able to talk to people from your major that day. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. If you're wondering on how to register, because you do need to register, unfortunately, there isn't a QR code link here for some reason, but if you go ahead and just type on Google, look up Cal State LA Eagle Fest, it's going to take you to our registration link, okay? So again, just go on Google, look up Cal State LA Eagle Fest as it's shown right there, and it'll take you to the registration link. And again, it's November 15th from 9 a.m. to 12:30. Everything is free, guys. Everything is free. You're going to receive all kind of free stuff. You're going to talk to all kinds of people from Cal State LA and, get all your questions answered. All right, folks. So some tips for success. What I'm going to, I'm just going to give you some pro tips, right? Something I will tell you from the Office of Admissions and, as an expert in this field. There's 3 specific departments you want to make sure you communicate with thoroughly, right? So of course, number 1, financial aid, because that's the money, right? That's going to be your money needed in order to pay for your tuition, right? You want to make sure your financial aid, your FAFSA form is submitted, or you've typed in the Cal State LA code. Again, you want to make sure all that money and financial stuff is sorted out. The second office is the Office of Admissions, right? You want to make sure you check in with us, make sure you don't owe us any official transcripts, any test scores, or anything needed that might hold up your offer of admission, okay? Lastly, you want to make sure you connect with the orientation department because again, as I went over, orientation is mandatory for every single student. Okay, you're not going to be able to enroll into the spring semester without registering for orientation. Once you submit your ECD, that's when you're going to go ahead and get invited to orientation. So again, just be sure to submit your ECD and connect with all of these departments. All right, folks. And lastly, again, we're here to help you. So if you ever have any questions about your application, or your next steps, or maybe you just didn't receive any, like a specific email, whatever it may be, go ahead and contact us. All of our contact information is there. Our office is open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we happily accept phone calls. So give us a call. Our number is displayed right there. It's at 323-343-3901. Again, that's 323-343-3901. Or if you want, you can just go ahead and send us an email. Our admission is right there at the bottom. It is admission@calstatela.edu. We definitely recommend that you follow us on social media as well. We have a really great social media platform. We send a ton of updates on Instagram and on Twitter, or rather known as X. But I do agree that Instagram is the best way to follow us because we're going to send you posts. We're going to send you, or I'm sorry, we're not going to send you anything, but we will post on there when things are due, including your final transcripts, the last day to, register for classes, all of that stuff. So we do have some pretty cool reminders there. And if you want to get taken directly to our admissions website, please go ahead and scan that QR code. It'll take you directly there. Basically, it'll lay out the next steps. So basically everything I kind of just talked about today.